Amanda clearly unable to control her daughter's behavior. I found that line in an email to his lawyer, the same man who held me as I cried. So I played his lies to our kids. Hi everyone, I don't even know where to start. 2 hours ago, I thought I had the perfect second chance family. My head is spinning and I need someone to tell me if I'm losing my mind. I'm Amanda, 34, work as a nurse at our local hospital. My husband Ryan is 32, software engineer. We've been married for 2 years now. This is a second marriage for both of us. I'm widowed from 5 years ago when my first husband died in a car accident, and Ryan lost his wife to cancer 4 years back. Our family is pretty big. I have 3 kids, Olivia who's 16, Mason who's 10, and little Lily who just turned 7. Ryan has Emma, 15, and Jake, 13. I thought we'd created this beautiful blended family. Everyone always said how sweet we looked, 6 people in one big house, all taking care of each other. But there's been one problem. Olivia, my oldest, has had behavioral issues since her dad died. She has this habit of stealing small things, not big stuff, just loose change, candy, sometimes Emma's makeup. I've had her in therapy with Dr. Patricia Williams for over a year now, and we've been working on it. The stealing episodes come and go, usually when she's stressed about school or missing her dad. Last week was particularly bad. Olivia took $200 from Emma's wallet, money Emma had saved from babysitting jobs. I was mortified. I yelled at Olivia, probably louder than I should have, and grounded her for a month. Ryan seemed supportive, hugged me afterward, told me I handled it well. Said Emma understood that Olivia was still grieving. Yesterday, Ryan was at work and I needed to print some medical forms from his computer since mine was updating. That's when I found it. A folder buried deep in his files labeled documentation. Inside were hundreds of files. Photos of me looking exhausted, crying, losing my temper. Audio recordings of me disciplining Olivia, including that fight about the $200. There were spreadsheets, actual fucking spreadsheets, tracking what he called incidents with dates, times, and detailed descriptions of my failures as a parent. The recordings made my stomach turn. There was one from 3 months ago when I discovered Olivia had stolen makeup from Emma again. You could hear me yelling, "What is wrong with you? Why can't you just stop taking things that aren't yours?" My voice sounded harsh, angry. Out of context, I sounded like a monster, but the photos were worse. There's one of me crying in the bathroom after that same fight, taken through a crack in the door. Another of me looking completely defeated while making dinner, hair messy, still in scrubs from a 12-hour shift. Pictures of our messy living room with a note, "Amanda unable to maintain household while working children living in chaos." Then I found the emails. Ryan has been corresponding with a family lawyer since 18 months ago. The subject lines made me sick. Building case for custody modification, documenting parental unfitness, protecting children from unstable environment. In one email, he wrote, "Amanda clearly unable to control her daughter's behavior. Olivia's theft directly impacts my children's sense of safety and security." I have documentation showing Amanda's increasingly erratic responses to discipline issues. Another one, Amanda works long shifts and often comes home exhausted and short-tempered. I have evidence of her shouting at children and failing to provide consistent structure. I sat there reading for 2 hours, feeling sicker with each file. This man I trusted, who held me when I cried about feeling like a failed mother, had been building a case against me this entire time. I confronted him when he got home. He didn't deny it, just said he was protecting his children, and that I wouldn't understand because I'm too emotional about Olivia. He said Emma and Jake needed stability, and my inability to handle Olivia proved I wasn't fit to make decisions about their household. Reddit, I'm spiraling. Am I actually a terrible mother? When I listen to those recordings, I do sound harsh. When I look at those photos, I do look like a mess. Olivia has been struggling, and maybe I haven't been handling it right, but something feels so wrong about this. Ryan has been documenting my worst moments for 2 years while pretending to support me. He's been planning to take away my home, my stepchildren I love like my own, everything. So Reddit, AITA for being upset about this. Am I overreacting to my husband protecting his children, or is this as messed up as it feels? Update 1 first, thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. The overwhelming support helped me realize I wasn't losing my mind. You all gave me the courage to dig deeper, and what I found is so much worse than I initially thought. I took everyone's advice and started investigating. What I discovered has completely shattered my understanding of the past 2 years. Remember how I mentioned Ryan seemed supportive after I disciplined Olivia? I went back through our credit card statements. He's been paying a family attorney, Mitchell and Associates, for 18 months. The charges started 3 months after we got married. 3 fucking months, but that's not even the worst part. I found the cameras. You know how Ryan did that renovation of our family room last year? Said he wanted to surprise me with built-in shelving? I thought it was sweet. Turns out he installed tiny cameras in 3 rooms: the kitchen, living room, and hallway. I only found them because Mason, my 10-year-old, casually mentioned seeing the little blinking light behind the bookshelf. Mason, my brilliant, observant kid, knew there were cameras in our house and didn't think to mention it because he assumed I knew. I've been living under surveillance in my own home for over a year. Going through Ryan's files more thoroughly, I found his real documentation system. He has a detailed journal where he rates my parenting on a scale of 1-10 daily. Bad days get extensive notes. Good days get 1 line, no incidents. Some excerpts that made me physically ill. Day 847, Amanda worked 14-hour shift, came home irritable, snapped at Lily for leaving toys out. Children walking on eggshells around her. Rating, 310, day 923, Olivia stole $20 from my wallet. Amanda's response was to take away her phone and lecture her for an hour. Excessive punishment shows lack of understanding of child psychology. Rating, 210, but here's what really gets me. I remember that day with Lily. I wasn't even angry, I was exhausted and asked her to pick up her toys before dinner. Ryan wrote it up like I was screaming at her, and the $20 incident, that wasn't even real. I checked Ryan's wallet, was never missing money that day. He made it up. He literally created a scenario to test how I'd react, then documented my response as evidence of poor parenting. I called Dr. Patricia, Olivia's therapist. That conversation broke my heart. She told me Olivia has been making remarkable progress over the past 6 months, better than Dr. Patricia has seen in similar cases. But when I mentioned Ryan's concerns about Olivia's behavior, Dr. Patricia was confused. Mr. Mitchell told me Olivia was still having daily incidents at home, she said. That's why I've been so surprised by her progress in our sessions. At home and at school seemed completely different. Ryan has been lying to Olivia's therapist, giving her false information to make it seem like Olivia wasn't improving, while telling me the therapist was concerned about Olivia's lack of progress. My sister, Rebecca, finally knows everything. I couldn't keep it from her anymore. She's a family law attorney, and when I showed her Ryan's files, she went quiet for a long time. Then she said something that chilled me. Amanda, this isn't just building a custody case. This is systematic documentation designed to prove you're an unfit parent. He's not planning to share custody, he's planning to get full custody and have you removed from the children's lives entirely. She found something else in his emails. Ryan has been researching parental alienation syndrome and how to prove emotional abuse through documentation. He's not just collecting evidence, he's learning how to manipulate it. But you know what? I'm not the broken woman crying in those photos anymore. I'm angry, I'm clear-headed, and I'm fighting back. Rebecca is helping me document everything properly. We're building our own case. Dr. Patricia has agreed to provide testimony about Ryan's lies regarding Olivia's progress. I've contacted Detective Mike Brooks. He was my first husband's best friend and works in family crimes now. Ryan has been playing a long game. Now it's my turn. The scariest part? Emma and Jake have been so sweet to me lately. Extra hugs, helping with dinner without being asked. Yesterday, Emma said, Amanda, you know we love you, right? Even when Dad says. And then she stopped talking and ran upstairs. What has he been telling them about me? I'm not the victim in this story anymore. This is war now, and I'm protecting my family. Update 2. Reddit, I can't believe I'm back here, but the support you've given me has literally saved my sanity. The evidence I've gathered over the past 2 months has revealed something so calculated and cruel that I'm still processing it. First, the good news. I'm no longer living under surveillance. Rebecca helped me have the cameras professionally removed and documented. We now have proof that Ryan installed recording devices without my knowledge or consent. In our state, that's illegal. But what we discovered during this process broke my heart completely. Mason, my brilliant 10-year-old, came to me last week with something that changed everything. He'd been keeping a secret for months, and the guilt was eating him alive. Ryan had been coaching Emma and Jake. Mason showed me videos he'd secretly recorded on his tablet. My son was so disturbed by what he was seeing that he started documenting it himself. The recordings show Ryan sitting with Emma and Jake, literally rehearsing what they should say if anyone asked about our home life. Remember, Amanda gets really angry with Olivia, Ryan says in one video. Like, scary angry, and she's always too tired to help with homework or make proper dinners. In another recording, Emma asks, "But Dad, Amanda does help with homework. She helped me with my chemistry project last week." Ryan's response made me sick. "Emma, sweetheart, you need to think about whether that's really helping or just Amanda trying to look good. Real help would be consistent, not just when she feels like it." He was rewriting their memories, teaching them to reinterpret normal, loving interactions as manipulation or inadequacy. The breakthrough came when I finally got access to Ryan's email account. Mason figured out his password because Ryan uses the same one for everything. What I found there was evidence of a conspiracy that goes back to before we even got married. Ryan had been corresponding with his sister about me for 3 years. Not just venting about marital problems, planning, strategizing how to document my unfitness as a parent. In an email from 6 months before our wedding, his sister wrote, "The daughter's stealing problem is perfect. No judge will award custody to someone who can't control a child with behavioral issues. You just need to document her losing control." Ryan's response, "I'm working on it. Amanda is so trusting, she'll never see it coming." They planned this before we got married. Ryan married me knowing he intended to destroy me. But wait, it gets worse. Detective Mike Brooks ran a background check on Ryan after I showed him everything. Turns out, Ryan's first wife didn't just die of cancer. She filed for divorce 3 months before her death. The divorce papers cited emotional manipulation and systematic isolation from support systems. She was planning to leave him when she got sick. Dr. Patricia has been incredible through all of this. She confirmed that not only has Ryan been lying about Olivia's progress, but he's been actively trying to sabotage her treatment. He called Dr. Patricia multiple times claiming Olivia had episodes that never happened, asking her to increase session frequency and consider medication. He was trying to make Olivia seem more unstable than she actually was. The most heartbreaking discovery came from Emma herself. Last week, she broke down crying and confessed that Ryan had been telling her and Jake that I didn't really love them and was just pretending to be nice until I could get rid of them. "He said you only married him for his money and that you'd try to turn us against him," Emma sobbed. "But Amanda, that never felt true. You've never been anything but kind to us." Jake, who's 13 and usually doesn't show much emotion, hugged me tight and whispered, "I always knew Dad was lying. You make the best pancakes and you always remember when I have soccer practice." These children have been living with psychological manipulation for 2 years, and they've been protecting me from it. Rebecca has built an airtight case. We have evidence of illegal surveillance, deliberate sabotage of a minor's mental health treatment, systematic manipulation of children, fraud, false reports to authorities and medical professionals. Evidence of previous pattern with his deceased wife tomorrow. We're filing for emergency custody modification and a restraining order. Ryan has no idea what's coming. But honestly, Reddit, I'm terrified. This man has been planning my destruction for 3 years. He's calculated, patient, and cruel. What if his lawyer is better than Rebecca? What if the judge believes his documentation over our evidence? I can't lose my kids, and I can't lose Emma and Jake, who I love like my own. One more day, and then we find out if the truth is enough. Final update. Reddit, I'm shaking as I write this, but I wanted to give you the resolution you all deserve after supporting me through this nightmare. Yesterday was the confrontation. Rebecca advised against it, said we should let the courts handle everything, but I needed Ryan to face what he'd done. I needed him to hear the truth from me in front of the children he'd been manipulating. I planned it carefully. I waited until all 5 kids were home from school, then called a family meeting. Ryan came in smiling, probably thinking I wanted to discuss weekend plans or something normal. I started by looking at Emma and Jake. I need you both to know that everything your father has told you about me not loving you is a lie. I need you to hear that directly from me. Ryan immediately jumped in. Amanda, what are you talking about? I never said anything like that. That's when Mason stepped forward with his tablet. My incredible son played the video of Ryan coaching them, clear as day. You could hear Ryan's voice saying I didn't really love them, that I was just pretending until I could get rid of them. The silence that followed was deafening. Emma started crying immediately. Dad, you told us this was just practice for if anyone asked questions. You said Amanda might try to turn us against you. Jake looked stunned. You lied to us? Ryan tried to backtrack, claiming the video was taken out of context, that he was preparing them for potential custody issues. But then I pulled out the printed emails between him and his sister, the ones planning my destruction before we were even married. I read them out loud, every calculated word. The daughter stealing problem is perfect. Amanda is so trusting, she'll never see it coming. Olivia, who had been quiet through all of this, suddenly stood up. You made my mom think she was a bad parent. You made her cry every night thinking she was failing me. Then she turned to Emma and Jake. Everything your dad said about my mom is lies. She's the strongest person I know, and she's been protecting all of us this whole time. That's when Ryan finally snapped. He started yelling about how I was poisoning his children against him and how I was clearly emotionally unstable if I was attacking him in front of the kids. But here's the thing I wasn't attacking. I was calm, steady, strong. Ryan, I said quietly, Dr. Patricia is on the phone. I'd called her before the meeting and asked her to listen on speaker. Her voice came through clearly. Mr. Mitchell, I need to inform you that lying to a mental health professional about a minor's condition is considered fraud. Olivia has been making excellent progress, contrary to everything you've reported to me. Ryan's face went white. Then Detective Mike Brooks knocked on our door. Perfect timing, because Rebecca had coordinated everything. The legal resolution happened faster than I expected. When presented with all our evidence, the illegal surveillance, the manipulation of the children, the sabotage of Olivia's treatment, the emails proving premeditation, Ryan's lawyer advised him to settle. Here's what happened. Ryan moved out immediately under a restraining order. I kept primary custody of all 5 children. Emma and Jake chose to stay with me. Ryan gets supervised visitation with Emma and Jake only. He has to pay for therapy for all the children to address the psychological manipulation. The house is mine turns out his plan to write Emma and Jake into his will was legally questionable anyway since we're married. But the most important part isn't the legal stuff. Emma and Jake are thriving. Without their father's constant negative programming, they're happier, more relaxed. Emma told me last week, I feel like I can finally just be a kid again instead of worrying about saying the wrong thing. Olivia has made incredible strides. Dr. Patricia says removing the toxic dynamic with Ryan has accelerated her healing dramatically. She hasn't had a stealing incident in 3 months. Mason, my little hero, is seeing a therapist too. Carrying the burden of those secrets was too much for a 10-year-old, but he's proud that he helped protect our family. And Lily, she's just happy everyone isn't walking on eggshells anymore. 6 months later, we're healing. I won't lie, there are hard days. The kids sometimes ask why Ryan did what he did, and I don't have good answers. But we're building something real now, something based on truth instead of manipulation. Ryan attempted to contact me through his lawyer last month, claiming he wants to reconcile and that he made mistakes. But I've learned to trust my instincts now. Someone who spent 3 years systematically planning your destruction doesn't change overnight. To everyone who supported me through this nightmare, you literally saved my family. When I was doubting my own reality, you helped me see the truth. When I thought I was a terrible mother, you reminded me that terrible mothers don't fight this hard for their children. The most important thing I learned, trust yourself. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If someone's actions don't match their words, believe the actions. And never, ever let anyone convince you that your reality isn't real. My family is safe now. We're not just surviving, we're building something beautiful from the ashes of Ryan's manipulation. Thank you, Reddit. You helped me save my children and find my strength. And to anyone going through something similar, document everything, trust your instincts, and remember that the people who love you shouldn't make you feel crazy for having reasonable concerns. You're stronger than you know. Edit, a lot of people are asking about Emma and Jake choosing to stay with me. The court appointed a guardian ad litem to represent their interests, and both children clearly stated they felt safer and happier in my custody. The gal recommended they stay with me, which the judge approved. Ryan's manipulation backfired completely. Instead of turning them against me, it made them realize how much I actually cared for them.